coffee in my hand, clocking in at sunrise, trying to make a stand. 2 jobs just to keep the wheels from falling off the track. But I hear the big shots laughing, gotta pay for their scams. Gotta work 2 jobs just to pay my taxes, while the fraud runs wild and the fat cats relaxes. I'm a small town hero with a heavy load, trying to earn my keep down this dusty road. Mrs. Jenkins down the street says it's a crooked game. She's watched her neighbor dodge the law and never feel the shame. Meanwhile, I'm clocking overtime, trying to make it right, digging holes in paperwork, burning through the night. Gotta work 2 jobs just to pay my taxes, while the fraud runs wild and the fat cats relaxes. I'm a small town hero with a heavy load, trying to earn my keep down this dusty road. Maybe one day the scales will swing a little fairer. Till then I'll keep my grit, my boots, and my prayer. It's a tale as old as time, but I'll sing it loud and true. Hard work beats the wicked, and that's how I'll get through. Gotta work 2 jobs just to pay my taxes, while the fraud runs wild and the fat cats relaxes. I'm a small town hero with a heavy load, trying to earn my keep down this dusty road. So raise a glass to the honest, struggling every day. Keep chasing dreams and dodging schemes along the way.
Just full tilt all the way.
All right, guys, how we doing?
Hey, what's going on?
Not much, not much. Let me see if I can turn my volume down just a little bit on my side. No, it's over here somewhere. There we go. Yep, it's a little loud. All right, that's probably better. All right, so remember we were talking about tracking packages and stuff before. I got one. This is ironic as hell. This is a package that got shipped out of Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada.
Yeah, we went shopping again.
It was held back by customs for a while and then released. Went to Pembina, North Dakota, USA. Then it went to Torgo, North Dakota, USA. Then it went to Minneapolis, Minnesota, USA. Then it went to Hodgkins, Illinois, USA. Then it went to Buffalo, New York. Then it went to Ithaca, New York. Then it went to East Syracuse, New York. Then it went to Vestal, New York. Then it went to East Syracuse, New York. Then it went back to Buffalo. Then it went back to Ithaca. Then it went back to East Syracuse. Then it went back to Vestal. And the last word I got at Vestal from UPS is unable to deliver this package and will be destroyed as according to our guidance.
Wow.
These are like some really expensive transfers to go on a band shirt. I special ordered for the band. Now they're saying, well, we'll just pay you for the order because we don't know what's going to happen to it. Well, that doesn't do me any good. I ordered them. I waited for the order to come in. The band's been waiting 2 weeks for this thing. I mean, actually, in reality, I can give you a time frame from when it started to where we got. It was shipped out on January 14th. My last update was yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, it is. Speaking of that, I ordered a new pellet stove for my wood shop, and I ordered it from Tractor Supply. And I was waiting and waiting and waiting. He kept saying, the order hasn't been picked up yet. The order hasn't been picked up yet. Why not? So I went through all the channels and I found out Rody was the company that was hiring an independent driver to bring it to me. So I called Rody. I said, I need to leave instructions for this driver. And they said, all right. So I told him, I said, tell him to leave it at the walk-through door of my garage. It's pretty evident what building is a garage. It's got an overhead door on it, And thank God Leah was in the hospital Wednesday, got out Thursday morning, and was home Friday, because when they delivered that, I was at a doctor's appointment myself, but when they delivered that, they were going to put it over on our seat house porch. And Leah caught him and said, no, that's got to go over to the garage. Of course, the guys that delivered it were mad. Well, we got to drag it all the way around the truck now to get it over to the garage. And Leah's like, well, too bad, because the instructions tell you where to put the package.
Yep.
And when I got home, it says, oh, your package has been delivered, and here's the delivery instructions for the drivers. Placed next to the garage door. If they put it in front of the overhead door of the garage, that would have been fine. I wouldn't have cared. But the fact that I had to call them and create a special drop-off point because there was no way to do it in the TSC app, it was like, okay, well, this is stupid,
Yeah.
Yeah, thankfully, Leah was in the hospital Wednesday with a stroke and came back home Thursday and was home Friday as an extra R&R day to be able to be here when it was being delivered, to tell them, hey, no, you're doing that wrong. Oh,
Hey, who's that guy down in the bottom?
That is Mr. Troy Sutton.
But
everybody knows Troy.
Apology. I have been things around there. I've been beat up for like the past 4.5 weeks, and the health issues from that I've been dealing with for a couple of months. Like, I'm back.
Alrighty.
With my two brothers.
Hey, Troy, if you would, scoot a little closer to your mic.
Is that any better?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you were like talking in the background there for a little bit.
Right.
I thought it was mine, so I turned my volume up.
Yeah.
Well, when you started talking, Greg, I had to turn my volume down. I was like, holy crap.
I'm telling you, this microphone or this
I came prepared. I didn't even have my hat on tonight.
Yeah.
This webcam is awesome.
That's better.
Yeah. I don't know how any of this stuff works. I'm starting out. So.
Well, it takes time.
Oh yeah.
Babe, can you turn the light on?
Greg's afraid of the dark.
No, she's going to sit in the living room with her mom.
Oh.
Moose and I hanging out in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Greg, what do you got exciting going on?
And I am
other than electrical?
Dude, it's amazing how much that stuff costs. Holy cow.
I know, I told you.
We bought 50 feet of 6'3" wire, which is
I'm sorry.
50 feet of it, $256. It's like just for the wire.
When I wired my garage for the camper, I didn't have to pay that much, but it was probably still 50 feet. I think I paid somewhere right around about 100, 125.
Right.
Yeah, that was a couple years ago too. So
yeah, the guy said it's gone up almost double.
Oh yeah,
in 6 months, 7 months.
Well, look at household wire. That wire Gary and Melanie are putting in their house. That's like $225 a roll now.
Yeah. Well, I just bought it when it came in yesterday. 2 40-amp breakers, and that was $60.
No.
Really?
And I gotta buy 10 feet of wired. Well, 20 feet. One to go to the heater, and then the other go down to where I can plug my welder in.
And that your welder's 220, isn't it?
Yeah.
Good luck, because 15 feet of that, more than likely, it's going to be 6'3" wire.
Well, it is.
I was thinking 6'3".
Yeah, the heater is too.
Oh, 15 feet of it at Home Depot is $110.
Right. Well, the heater is going right above where the breaker panel is.
Oh,
and then the outlet for the welder is going to be right underneath the panel.
Oh,
that way I don't have to buy that much wire.
Yeah, it's
Troy, do like I did. I've got one of those electric heaters for my garage.
Yeah.
And I've also got my welder. And what I did is I wired the heater with the same plug that my welder uses, and I just put in a 50-foot whip or a 20-foot whip so that I can take it outside of the garage to weld if I want to. If I'm outside, I don't need a heater on inside anyway. You know what I'm saying?
right.
Well, yeah, but here I'm thinking most of my welding and the projects in the garage are going to be during the winter time. So I need to heat the garage and have the welder too at the same time.
Right. Yeah. Now that I got that new pellet stove delivered, it sits out in my driveway because it weighs like 190 pounds.
Yeah.
And it's mounted to a pallet. And I was like, well, if they could slide it from the front of from this side of the driveway all the way around my truck over to that side of the driveway, it shouldn't be that hard for me to figure out a way to slide it into the garage, right? Well, I figured it out today. I actually, a long time ago, I went out and bought these. These are bearings that go inside of what they call electrical uni-strut.
Yeah.
So you can hang something from it and roll it across.
Yeah.
And I bought a Badlands winch. I said, well, that ought to do it. But the winch that I got, the first thing it tells you, and it's like on the top of every page, do not use this for lifting. And I'm like, you know what? It's 185 pounds. I got to drag it into the garage first before I can pick it up anyway. And what little I'm going to pick it up, it basically has to get lifted off the floor just enough so that the legs aren't scraping and slide it into the spot where it's going to go. So I want to hook that uni-strut to a 2x4 frame on the inside of my door to bring the heater into the garage, and then take the uni-strut off of that 2x4 frame and run that across the ceiling so I can slide it over to where I want it and push it back into the area I want.
Yeah.
I don't know what I paid for these things, but it's been a long time since I bought them. I was actually going to build a garage trolley out of them.
Really?
But apparently I don't want to use the winch I'm using.
Yeah.
So Troy, what's new with you?
Oh, not a whole lot. This weather, of course, y'all are used to weather like this.
No, we aren't. It's 4 degrees out right now.
Yeah, well, it's not really bad outside now, but we're sitting on 5 inches of ice and about 5 inches of snow that hit last night. And my truck, I go out and get in that. I put it in gear and it just sits there and spins. It forward drive.
All right.
Yeah.
You know what
the tires are just too big.
You know what four-wheel drive means? You know what four-wheel drive means, right?
What's that?
Four-wheel slide.
Yeah. Especially with 13.5-inch wide tires on it. All the way around. On a Ranger.
Yeah, so you're already stuck down to the ground level.
Yeah.
So you got to go uphill to get up out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to go anywhere.
No.
You need one of these winches.
Yeah, you're really right. See, the thing about them 13-inch wide tires, you got the same amount of tread touching the ground as you would for a 10-inch wide tire.
All right.
Except the 13.5-inch wide tire, everything goes sideways.
Yeah.
The narrower the tire, the long ways it goes. So you're actually reaching out there and pulling in. Where mine is just 4 inches straight across. And yeah, it ain't going nowhere. Plus they're mud tires, not snow tires.
Yeah, that makes a bit of a difference.
Yeah.
I will say though, I got really good snow tires on our car, and I've been sliding around a lot with that, and we don't even have the ice. Well, we do on the road surfaces, kind of, but not really so much. It's been mostly just snow.
Yeah.
Like the other day, Friday, when I came back from the doctor's office, there was a lot of snow drifts. Boy, I'll tell you, I had a couple of them. I was going around sideways in them. They were so deep.
Yeah.
That snow was nothing but fluff.
Yeah.
I'm just glad we're not getting what North Carolina and them are getting right now.
Oh, no kidding.
I don't think we're going to, Greg. At least not.
No.
At least not now.
Yeah.
I was looking at the weather report, and it's not supposed to snow in our area again until like Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
Next week. And I think beginning Monday going on through, it's supposed to start getting up into the 20s and 25s and stuff.
Oh, it's a heat wave.
Yeah, well, I've been kind of holding back of, okay, well, when I go out to play with this heater and get everything set up for it, I'm going to heat the garage first. But of course, I'm going to have the door open in order to pull the heater in.
Yeah.
So I'm going to build everything in the garage, make sure it works, and I can open the door. Then I'll go out and I'll hook the heater onto it and drag it into the garage. But then I got to get it out from in front of the door in order to do anything with it. So I'm going to have to be hustling out there to get that uni strut put up onto the ceiling to be able to pick it up and pull it back the other way. But I got another one in the way right now that I got to get out of there in order to put this one in.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
Do y'all know who Bowen is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know him personally, but I've heard of him.
He sent me some pictures earlier, and I've been talking to him back and forth. And he's down there next to Charlotte, well, north of Charlotte, up by the lake, and they're snowed in. And
yeah, Ryan Hall. I was watching him before I switched over, and he was saying they 10 to 12 inches or something like that.
Yeah. Well, Ryan showed Lake Norman, and Bowen's right on Lake Norman.
Okay.
So I told him, I was like, brother, you better put some chains on that wheelchair of yours you got, because you're not going anywhere.
I haven't seen a wheelchair with chains on it yet, but that'd be kind of cool.
Give it to Bowen. He'll come up with it.
Peel the rubber off the tires, put some nails through it, and put them back on again.
Yeah.
Well, Florida, they declared a state of emergency because it's 15 degrees with the wind chill.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all the way down into Miami.
Yeah. Jacksonville or Gainesville was getting snow.
Right.
And I mean, Gainesville is, it's not middle, but, it's up by Jacksonville.
Right.
Up that way.
Yeah.
Georgia was getting hit with snow.
Well, Virginia they had them pre-staged, but they just sent out the National Guard down toward Virginia Beach area that way.
Yeah.
And
don't
need it. It's gonna be high winds with a lot of snow, and so it'll be like a complete whiteout for a long time.
Right. I remember when I was stationed down in Norfolk area, down at Little Creek, which is halfway between Norfolk and Virginia Beach. We pulled in, come back. It might have been when we got back from Haiti back in the 90s during the Haitian conflict. And we pulled in, and my chief looked at me and said, "Troy, don't do it." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Your leave don't start till Monday." This was Saturday morning, Christmas Eve. Back, I think it was 93, 94.
93 was a bad one.
Yeah, and I was like, yeah, okay, not a problem, Chief. I got you covered and everything. Well, by the time I hit Appomattox, Virginia, I ran into 2 feet of snow.
I'll tell you, when I was down in Jackson, they would literally roll up the sidewalks if there was even like any snow at all touching the ground and staying for any more than an hour.
Norfolk
They even made it so we couldn't go to chow. They made it so we couldn't even walk down to the chow hall to get our food. I told our company captain, I said, "Dude, I'm from New York. Let me go down and grab a deuce and a half. I'll bring it back."
Yeah.
No, we can't do that. We can't have anybody driving. Why? This is nothing.
I went to boot camp. I flew out of West Virginia December the 7th, 1989 or 1990. I can't remember what. Flew into Great Lakes, Illinois, and was there all through December, January. That's not a fun time to be doing through boot camp in Great Lakes, Illinois.
Yep.
They would.
Greg, are those bugles?
Huh?
Are you eating bugles? Oh,
Well, that'll work.
barbecue. There you go.
Oh, Greg, barbecue chips are good, but it is nothing like a good homemade chicken casserole.
I'm still waiting for FedEx to deliver mine.
Well, you know how to get to my house. You know you can do that. So
Yeah, but we're not driving in that shit.
We're gonna let
New
you.
York. What are you, bunch of candy?
Yeah, but we may be from New York, but we're not stupid.
Hi, Ace. How you doing?
Well, just wait. I've seen that bruise, Greg.
It's not a bruise.
We'll get that in a second.
It's pipe cleaner.
Oh, okay. But just wait. This trip to this year out west, we're gonna be snacking on the way out. I got that covered.
What are you doing? Going to rob the dumpster behind the dollar store?
Yeah.
Again?
I know people that actually do that.
I do too.
And they brag about how good everything is that they get out of there. I says, yeah, well, if it has a sell-by date, it's like, say, tomorrow, they generally won't mark it down. They'll just throw it away and reload the shelves with what came in last. But I'll be honest with you, if it's snack food, that stuff lasts forever as long as it's not open.
Yeah, it's not a there's no such thing as a best by date. It should be called sell by date.
Right.
Which some places do because it don't go wrong. My ex used to work for Family Dollar. She's a manager there, and especially the little hamburger things that they got in there that's really cheap and everything like that. They're on contract with this other company. What that company does when they go to the big box stores, things that are expiring, they get it, bring it in, repackage it in a new box after the expiration date.
Wow.
And then companies like Family Dollar, Family General, all of them, and they buy that. So there's no difference.
Yeah, I mean, you look at canned food. They have a date on it, but you could store it in your basement and it'll stay good for years.
Yeah, as long as the can isn't dented or rusty, you're fine.
Right.
I've got
actually most of the new ones. They got that vinyl liner on the inside of the can now, so they last even longer.
Yeah.
Right. I've got cans that I've actually used, and they're 4 or 5 years old. But I rotate everything out. I look at it, make sure they're not dented. On the edges, the sides don't matter.
Right.
As long as they're around the edges where it won't break the seal or there's rust on top of it and everything, I open it up, smell it first.
Oh, yeah.
If it smells, it's bad. If it don't smell, it's still good. You might lose. Only thing you lose is a little nutritional value after 3 years, according to the FDA.
Hey, speaking of stuff like that, did you guys see that guy today? They had a YouTube video out of a guy that is on TikTok showing the fraud that's going on at Walmart.
I've seen that guy, a guy.
Mm-hmm. I've seen it. I flipped through it. I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, he was showing like the small packaged hams,
mm-hmm.
little tiny boneless ones.
Mm-hmm.
They were putting them down for almost 5 pounds each. And this guy took them over to the vegetable area and put them on the scale over there. Most of them were only 2 pounds, 2.21 or whatever.
Yeah.
So he took a whole bunch of them up to the front cash register and got the front cashier person there to put them on the scale and look at them again. And she put them all into a bag and carried it over and showed it to the manager. You know what that manager said? Well, I'll just send this sample over to the head people in Bentonville, and let them check it out and see what they think about it. And this guy's like, you got people buying these things every day, all day long, and you're ripping them off.
Yeah.
Well, he found like 16 of them within like a 30-second period that all said over 4 pounds each. Right. And he weighed every single one of them, and every one of them was less than half of the actual weight.
Right.
They don't care.
No, they don't.
Well, their excuse is, well, we don't put the labels on them. That's done by the company that sells it to us.
Right.
Well, then fire the company that's selling it to you.
Well, that's just like ground hamburger meat and sausage and stuff like that that's in the tubes and stuff like that.
Yep.
Whenever the ground, they inject all that with water and stuff.
Mhm.
Oh yeah.
So you're buying more water than what you think.
Yeah, they say it's the hamburger, the blood from the meat.
No.
No, it's not.
If it was blood from the meat, you could smell it when you opened the package.
Yep.
Exactly. That's just like when you buy, like, go to Walmart, buy steaks and stuff like that, and it's pretty red and all this stuff. No, it's not red. That's dye.
But yeah,
I actually don't buy meat from Walmart.
Yeah,
I learned my lesson about that a long time ago. You can never get anything that's a good cut. You know,
Right.
they had cube steaks in there one time. You couldn't chew them for your life.
nope.
I took them and ground them up in a food processor and made a pot of chili with it. And everybody was complaining about the meat. You can't chew the meat. You can't chew the meat. And I was like, I'm sorry. You know, I used what meat was available at the time. Well, I didn't tell them I used cube steak.
Right.
But, yeah. Even though it was cooked, you couldn't chew it.
Yep. All of my meat comes from the 2 local meat packers, or just the small mom
and pop shops.
Yep. And they sell to 2 of the local grocery stores, so I know where it's coming from.
Right. Yeah. I go to the regular grocery stores like Price Chopper. That's one of my favorite ones.
Right.
And 9 times out of 10, you go in there and you get something on manager special that's like really cheap. You know, I was in there Friday afternoon, and I was looking at chicken, and you could get like 2 really good sized chicken breasts, bone in, that were like $2.30 for 2 of them. You go to Walmart and find a package like that, it's going to be almost $6.
Yeah.
And it won't taste the same. It's nowhere near the same. It's not as fresh or anything.
I'm watching Band Wives.
Again?
Oh, Van Wives.
Oh, I love those too.
They're good. They're good. Ain't they the ones that was in like another country and was being stalked? They found.
No, they were in. They're from Canada.
Okay, yeah.
They bought 65 acres in Nova Scotia.
Okay.
They redid, the hunting cabin. They lived there. They built. They redid the lakefront cabin, and then somebody leaked their address to the lakefront cabin.
Yeah.
So they sold it, and they bought land in Mexico. They're building a house in Mexico, in Baja.
Yeah.
And but I still think they have property in Nova Scotia. Because now they say they only have 45 acres or 15 acres or something like that. And
Ace is ace.
Ace is the place.
For your helping hand, man. Yeah. Well, y'all know that. That's my sister.
Yeah, but we're not trying to sell it, Ace. If we are, it's not by the pound.
But to me, they're real. They don't hide anything from anybody.
No, they're not. They're good girls.
Yeah, I mean they live an alternate life,
right?
But that's their life,
right?
And whether we agree with it or not, they're
I
funny.
have to admit, they do look pretty good in bikinis when they're out there breaking the ice to go into the water in the middle of winter.
They do. But I hate that happened to them up in Halifax or around Nova Scotia, because I love Nova Scotia. I had a great time up there. And
you ever seen the program The Curse of Oak Island?
Yes. Yeah, of course.
That's up there too.
Yeah. That, and there's a street rod builder. What is his name? He was up there. I can't think. He does a lot of good heavy modified custom cars, street rods, stuff like that. Like I used to do when I worked this garage down, well, right across the road from here.
Yeah.
That type of work. We done all our sheet metal work and everything. And nothing looked like it did when it came in. So.
Either you two guys watch Heavy D Sparks, Dave Sparks.
Yeah.
I've seen him.
Yeah.
He
He's
went
got
to jail,
He got
didn't
a
he?
new one he put out today that where he was using the Black Hawk helicopter for the second time to go try to save wild horses.
Right.
It's like 50 minutes long, but boy, I'll tell you, it's like watching a regular cowboy movie. It was freaking awesome.
I like Heavy D, and anybody that will go through that, of course, he could buy a Black Hawk, but he went through all the steps to be licensed
Yep.
on it, and he actually had to go through a kind of a medical, or not a medical, a military type training.
Yeah, and then he hired somebody from the military to work as his co-pilot.
Yeah.
I was just watching that part of it today. I was like, well, that was pretty interesting all on its own, but yeah.
But then
didn't he go to jail for something?
Yes, he did. That was a bunch.
He was wrongful accused or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, they've been trying to shut him down for years.
Oh yeah.
Because of the pollution controls or whatever.
Yeah.
Saying he was violating it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
The same thing with Whistling Diesel, Whistling Diesel's been in jail.
Well, Whistling Diesel, I think, is his brother, ain't he?
No, they're just really good friends.
Okay, I didn't know. But yeah.
Whistling Diesel's the kind of guy, he goes out to buy a helicopter, never learns how to fly it, and crashes it just for the fun of it.
He went to overseas and bought an M1 Abrams tank and brought it back.
Yeah, he just went overseas in his last video where he was over in Dubois, and he bought this Toyota Land Rover.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only place you can buy them. You can't buy them in the United States. And he was driving that thing crazy in the sand dunes and all that stuff. But boy, I'll tell you what, that is not a truck I would drive.
They are a.
He got into what they call the death shake with the steering wheel. The whole steering wheel and everything in the truck started shaking really bad.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, wow, he says, that's bad. He says, if I go left and right and keep pressure on the tires, it doesn't do that. But if I go left and right in Dubai, he says, I get arrested.
But you know what? We ran into them vehicles. It's the same truck all over the Middle East and stuff. And they are some really good. You can't tear them up.
Yeah, they're supposed to be tougher than crap.
They are. I mean, it's like they're like a Model A and Model T. You can't.
I was enjoying the video, even though I wouldn't drive the truck, just because he's the kind of guy that just puts funny stuff out anyway.
Yep. Was that the one that he dropped from a helicopter?
No, that's Dave Sparks' Lamborghini.
Oh,
he's giving that away.
Oh, he done a Lamborghini, but also I think he actually dropped a Land Rover. That's what it was. He dropped a Land Rover from a helicopter too.
Yeah, I know the Lamborghini Dave Sparks has. He's giving that away. It wasn't Dave Sparks. No, it wasn't. It was Gas Monkey Garage.
Oh, yeah.
Gas Monkey Garage. He's got a green Lambo in there. Actually, he just had Deli driven exotics there the other day driving it, and he was putting it through its paces pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Greg was like, what? They still got Gas Monkey Garage on? I says, well, yeah, it used to be Fast and Loud, but now it's Gas Monkey Garage again. They're actually building a 6x6 Lamborghini. It's a Lamborghini Testarossa or something like that.
Yeah.
That's a nice looking car. I wouldn't want it any more than I'd want that. He's like, well, this green Lamborghini, if anybody that doesn't want a $400,000 car, and I'm like, why would I want a $400,000 car? Hi, Charlene. Why would I want a $400,000 car? The only thing I'm going to do with it is put it up for sale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finding a buyer, I wouldn't be able to do that. Not in my area.
Yeah. Charlene, that's my favorite Grady.
The insurance on it would cost more than what it's worth.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, no, they don't get good gas mileage.
Actually, I had a friend of mine years ago. He had two convertibles. One was the I forget what model Corvette, but it was the top of the line Corvette. And at the same time, he bought a Trans Am. Was it Trans Am or Firebird convertible? You know, the Firebird was the insurance was twice as much as what the Corvette was.
Yeah.
Because
which is sad because the Corvette's all fiberglass.
Yeah. And the insurance company told me, said, well, if you got that Corvette, you're less likely to tear it up than somebody with that Firebird or Trans Am convertible.
Yeah, because the Corvette's not going to be driven as much as the Firebird.
Yep.
I don't know. We used to have one that I rode back and forth to school. It was a '69 Corvette. And I'll tell you, we used to challenge people with that car all the time. We were down, there's an area in a local town, it's called the Five Corners of McLean. There's 5 roads that run out of the center square. And it's one of those areas where during Halloween, everybody would roll the hay wagons with hay down the hill burning, and they'd all land in the center by the fire department.
Yeah.
And it was always fun or whatever. Well, we were down in there, and this guy pulled up beside us with his Pontiac Trans Am all hopped up. And Carl looked at me and he says, "You ready?" And I says, "Yeah, I'm ready." He says, "All right, let's go." He punched it. That guy in that Trans Am, I don't know what he had under the hood, but man, I'll tell you what, we did not see him. We come up over to the top of the hill, coming off one of the roads. All the roads have to go uphill to get out of the town. We hit the top of the hill. That Pontiac Trans Am was not to be seen. And we were flying. I mean, we were flying. When we come around that corner, we were burning rubber like crazy. Carl was like, I'll catch him. I said, no, you aren't. You're not. Because when he took off, he didn't spin a tire. We did.
Yeah.
Your car is like his.
Yeah. My dad he always had Corvettes. I mean, ever since he was not Corvettes, convertibles. Ever since he joined the military in the, I guess, early 60s. Up until he got older, then he went to custom trucks, Studebakers and stuff like that. But two of the Corvettes he had, one was a 61 Corvette with the factory removable car top and stuff. And then he had the 68 Corvette Stingray. And when we was a kids, we'd be, me and my brother, we standing up, jumping up and down in the passenger seat, and Dad'd be sitting there hollering, "Sit down. Sit down. I told you to sit down." And we're all holding on to the bar up there. And he said, "Well, by God, I'll set you down." And he let off it and romped down on it. And us kids were he'd let off of it, and we'd hit the floorboard.
They take off pretty good, but the problem with the Corvette is that because it's all fiberglass, it's so light compared to a steel car.
Yeah, it don't hook up.
Yeah.
You're so funny.
I actually had one of my best times growing up. Our local mailman had a '67 Camaro SS. And I used to ride with him every once in a while because when he was delivering mail, everything, he was sitting on the left side of the car and driving it from the right. Yep. But if I rode with him, I'd be sitting in the back and I'd just be like, "Okay, what's the next house number?" And I'd hand him the mail over his shoulder and he'd put it into the mailboxes or whatever. It was a kick. But after all the mail was out of the car, it was fun time after that, man. I'll tell you what, that guy, he had a pit in his garage. So if he ever needed to work on a car, he could just pull it in over the pit.
Yeah.
And he always had a car in there he was working on and stuff, including the Corvettes and stuff that we were all riding around in and stuff all the time. But that Camaro, man, I'll tell you what, that was a sweet ride. That thing held the road good. It took a lot to burn rubber.
Dad had one, and actually I found it. I think I was probably about 11 years old. Of course, I've been slaving up lawnmower money and wherever I get money for a long time, because Dad taught me at a young age. First time I asked for a bicycle, he said, "Well, you can have one as long as you make the money and you can go buy it yourself. You're more than welcome to buy a bicycle." And I'd saved up. I was 11 years old. 11 or 12, somewhere around in there. And I was going through the local trading journal, and it said a '67 Chevy convertible for sale for $1,100. And I had $1,100 because Dad, he started as young. We all had it. Everybody had a bank account. Back when they had the passbook savings account thing
Yeah.
going, and I had it. I was like, Dad, here's this in there, and here's my passbook savings account. I have the money to go buy it. And then Dad's like, nah, it can't be nothing. Of course, Dad's the convertible freak. We'll go look at it. And it was a '67 Camaro convertible. It was an old lady had it. Her husband passed away, and there was a brand new top still in the box in the trunk.
Wow.
The motor was sitting over in the field and stuff. And Dad said, I think we're going to get it. Where's your money at again? He gave me a Volkswagen Buggy. He said, I'm taking the Camaro. You have the Volkswagen. I didn't think it was fair, but
Oh, that '67 Camaro that we used to ride back and forth to school in. He seen the car sitting in this lady's yard, and he just stopped by one day and he says, "Hey," he says, "I'm curious if you'd be willing to sell that Chevy you got out here in the yard." And she says, "Yeah, I'd be willing to sell it. My husband bought it. It was going to be a project car for him, but he passed away, and I don't have any need for it."
Yeah.
He called up the local bank. He says, "Send me the appraiser. Here's the address." They came out. They appraised the car at $15,000. And he said, "All right, good." So he went back over and he said to the lady, he says, "So what do you want for the car?" And she says, "Oh, give me $400.
What?
yeah.
He's like, "Okay, that's not a problem." He wrote the check right out, handed it to her. It was a bank check. And the bank's like, "Wow, you got that really cheap." He says, "I got it cheap, but you didn't, because we're not done yet. I still got more checks to write." He brought that, we got that car back to his house. We pulled the body off, put it on dollies, rolled it across the road where a guy had a body shop, and he repainted all the fiberglass and everything on the car. And while that was being done, we pulled the motor and transmission out of it. We pulled the rear end out of it and all the front suspension parts and stuff. Sent the frame out to be acid dipped and recoated. Then sent all of the suspension parts out, all stripped down to be stripped down and recoated. And then put it all back together in his garage.
Yeah.
By the time we got done, the bank had probably about $20,000 invested in that car, but it was appraised at $47,000.
Yeah. Well, we had a neighbor down there. Of course, you got to remember, all this was back in the '70s and stuff.
Right.
But our neighbor, he actually had he worked at a Chevy dealership. He was the parts guy. He was manager over the parts department. And they picked up a '68 Camaro, which was stolen and wrecked. And it sat there on their yard for ever how long it took. But he bought that car from the dealership. And since he was the parts guy and knew the people working in there, whenever he got the bill of sale for it and everything, it was under a 3-year warranty.
Oh.
And he got it back in his garage and he stripped it down and rebuilt that car piece by piece, bolt by bolt, and everything, all under warranty.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, nothing wrong with that.
No. But Alvin had the '68 Camaro. We had the '67 Camaro. And the guy at the end of the street from us, he had a '68 Camaro. And they were all convertibles. And between all the other Camaros, like, we had a whole junkyard. The entire neighborhood was a junkyard.
All right.
But
It looked like one most of the time, only because we had so many cars we were working on at once.
But I mean, with that '67 Camaro, I remember when my brother turned 15, so at that I would have been 13. And my brother got a hair up his butt and said, let's take it out for a ride. Okay, let's go. So we took off, and we was going up and down through Main Street. Of course, Peterstown, West Virginia, Main Street. It's, yeah, that ain't nothing.
Up this block, down that block, we're back home again.
Yeah, and, we got over. The sheriff pulled us over. He said, of course, he knew us. He pulled us over and he looked at us and said, boys, follow me back to your house. I ain't going to do anything to you because your dad's going to do a hell of a lot worse than anything I could do to you. And he called Dad at work, and Dad was sitting at the house by the time we got there. The sheriff run us up through town doing figure eights and stuff.
To give your dad time to get home.
What's the new meaning of the old cartoon? Wait till your father gets home.
Oh,
Yeah.
that happened a lot back when I was a kid. I don't know why.
You are an angel.
I used to hear that from my mom all the time. Well, wait till your father gets home. By the time Dad come home, he'd be like, well, shit, that happened 5 hours ago. I'm not punishing you now for it.
No, that didn't happen to me. Even in high school. My grandmother was a cook in the high school. Yeah. The principal would grab us up by the ear and take it. I ain't doing anything to it. I'm taking to your grandmother. I was like, oh, please, no.
That cook in the high school has got a really big wooden spoon.
Right. And it didn't stop at school. She'd take us home to Granddad. Granddad hit us. Then he would take us to Mama. Mama get us. And then she'd wait till your daddy gets home.
I never had to worry about that. I was a good kid in school. Actually, I hung out with a gang of guys. And we were always defending like the handicapped and the retards and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a lot of times where the principal would call me out of class and everybody's going, oh, you're in trouble. And I'm like, yeah, you think so. You know, I'd go down principal's office and he'd be like, all right, well, this kid gets out of this class at this time. Can you have a couple people there because he's been being bothered by these other people? Yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
You know, we were on first name basis. Yeah. The first day I was in school, he called me David. And I looked at him. I says, yeah, Sam, what's up? He says, my name is Mr. Cooper. And I says, okay, well, then my name's Mr. Moffitt. He says, no. He says, you're a student. Your name is David. And I says, and you're just another person, and your name is Sam. And from that time forward, we called each other David and Sam. It was never anything else.
Yeah. Well, it's like we actually, my high school actually finally got a guidance counselor. And his name was Jones. You go up to her and up to him, it's like, hey, how you doing? It's Dr. Jones. You grew up with my dad. Your first name is Baby. How you doing, baby? And oh, yeah, that didn't go over good either. But there was like 300 kids in our entire high school. So.
All right.
The town was about that same size because they brought all the kids from the rest of the county in.
Well, that's the advantage of a small town, though.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's good.
Everybody knows everybody.
And it's also bad too.
Yeah.
Because whenever you're downtown and you mess up, you're doing something around, there would be nothing for a car to pull over. They come up there and yank a knot in your tail and say, come on. Well, we're taking the Granny Berkman. I was like, oh, no, not again. Then,
yeah, we used to have this thing. My mom was like the local babysitter. And we had this thing where, like, any kids got out of hand, didn't matter what part of the neighborhood you were in. If there was a father in the house, you were allowed to get disciplined by that person. It didn't matter who they were.
Wow.
Yeah.
It didn't matter. Because my mom was disciplining her kids, so they thought it was only fair they could discipline us too. And boy, I'll tell you, we didn't get away with shit.
Well, when I was a kid, it didn't matter if you were family or not. If an older person seen you doing something wrong, they would do the exact same punishment that your parents should do.
Yep.
And then take you to the parents or call them, and you would get it all over again.
Yeah, because they don't rat on them as far as, well, I already beat him for it, so he's good now. No. I just seen him doing this. Now he's your problem and dropping you off. And they're like, well, we didn't know he already beat you.
No, and But that's the way things were back then.
Yeah.
Nowadays, you'll go to jail for that.
Yeah, oh yeah. Apparently, we'll go to jail for that.
Well, today you can go to jail for taking toys away from your children.
Yes.
I was told that by Department of Social Services when we had foster kids. You take a toy away from a child, it's called child neglect. Well, you know what? If I bought that toy and that child is not respecting me, then that toy is now mine again. I paid for it. It's mine.
Yeah. Well, my ex, her kids up to no more laptops or anything up in the room. It all has to be down here, and that's where all the charges are. If it goes dead, you have to come down here, charge it up, let it set. And I caught her son. He was probably about 9 years old at the time, and in his bedroom, under the blanket, with it charged into the wall beside his bed. And hey, well, you can't take my tablet. Well, I'm not taking your tablet. I'm taking the charger, and took it down in front of him and threw it into the trash. And you would have thought all Hades broke loose.
Right? You can say how we allow it.
No, yeah, all hell broke loose. He was crying and everything, and his sister was crying, his brother was crying and everything. When his mama got home, she started crying. And I was like, yeah, I can see this relationship ain't gonna work.
Right. I got so mad at my kids leaving stuffed animals all over my house one day. I told them they had 20 minutes to get everything picked up, or I was going to put it in garbage bags and throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
I ended up with 3 garbage bags full of stuffed animals, and I put them all out into a shed.
Mm-hmm.
And they went to school the next day, and before they even got out of school, I had DSS knocking on my door.
Yeah.
You're not allowed to take toys away from your kids. Yes, I am. I bought them, and if they aren't taking care of them and putting them where they belong, then yes, I do have that right. I bought them. They're mine.
Yeah. Well, that's what
we heard you threw them in the dumpster. I says, no, I didn't throw them in the dumpster. What they don't know is I walked them around behind my place, and I locked them into the shed.
Well, I did that. I did that too a few times. Yeah. And I was said, hey, you're in my house. That's not yours. If they didn't clean their room, whenever they got home from school, there'd be 3 blankets laid out in the backyard, and I would make them field strip their entire room. I mean, mattress, bed, take your drawers out of your dresser, take them out, dump them out, and now you have to fold everything and put them back in that dresser to earn the right to take them back into my house.
And shake the mowed grass off before you fold them.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, and her mom was like, "Oh, that's cruel. That's cruel." I guarantee you, they're going to keep their room clean from now on.
And that's the problem today with kids.
Yeah,
better than around to spoil the child.
Yeah, I mean, and it starts at the home.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, there's a lot of them in there too, where they say that it's not just the lack of discipline; it's the parents are trying to be friends with their kids.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
That doesn't work.
And actually, with my ex,
I mean, you can be respectful to your kids if they're respectful to you, but you can't be their best friend.
She was trying to relive and be a teenager again through her kids, and no, it's not going to work. You're in your mid-40s.
Yeah.
You're not a teenager.
No. I don't know. I seen one the other day. I was laughing about it. There was a black lady with her black son and her white husband, and she reached out. I think it was on Facebook, but I'm not positive where I'd seen it. She reached out and she said to somebody, she said, "Hey, can you remove my white husband from this picture so it's just me and my kid?" And she says, "Oh, so you want me to make it a black family?"
Yeah.
Morning.
Well, when the kids were little and everything, and they went to school and went to the principal and complained to the principal about me. Is a female principal. She was married to my best friend in high school. His family actually tucked me in whenever my parents were having a problem.
Moving gravel and shaping the
We
entrance
knew
like
we
boats.
knew each other, and their kids
Your track popped off and
are like my kids,
today we're
even to
here
this day.
back to it. Finishing
And
the 1,000-foot road we started.
they
and
went in and complained about me to her, and she's like, "We'll just be glad Troy's not getting mad or mean at him yet." So
I got my best laugh when my son changed schools because we moved to a different area, and when we moved, we had to go to the to parent teacher and kid orientation there for the school or whatever.
yeah,
And as we're walking through the door, I see this old man, and I recognize him. His name was John Stefano. He was my principal,
mm-hmm.
and I seen him at the door, and I was like, "John," he says, "Hey, Dave, what's going on?" I says, "Not much." He says, "Is this your son?" I says, "Yeah, this is Brandon." John got down on his knees, looked at my son right square in the eyes. He says, "You better not be anything like your father was in school. I'm going to beat your ass so damn bad." My son freaked out. He freaked out. He took off running down the hallway.
Operator, and it's
Well, not my girlfriend at the time. His mother had to go chase him down. John got back up and he says, "You think I did it?" And I says, "I know you did, but you didn't dare do that with me because I'd have knocked your ass out if you were down on your knees in front of me."
When I was in first and second grade, I didn't. Nobody found out that until I was in college that I had dyslexia. So in first and second grade, I was having to have tutors for that. The lady that tutored me, she retired when Dad was in school, and she done the same thing. If you were anything like your daddy was, I took care of him back in his days, and I'll take care of you in your days. And, yes, ma'am.
I laughed because my first grade teacher, her name was Vera Foote. I only know that because I know the whole family really well. I used to work for him. But her name was Vera Foote. She had both of my brothers as her first grade students. And my brother Donnie did so poor in class and everything else that she held him back on the excuse that he was too small to move to second grade. Well, I was 1 year behind Donnie. So now Donnie and I are both in first grade together. And he was pissed. And when Vera got older, I mean, like, she was rich. She didn't care, They owned a place called the Footy Freeze right here in Cortland, big ice cream shop. And her husband was a big dealer and some other stuff. And she was a school teacher for years. She never once cashed a paycheck. At the end of every school year, the school would have to call her back in, bring all of her paychecks back in, and consolidate them into one check. And then every 10 years, they'd bring her back in to consolidate those 10 checks into another check. She never cashed a paycheck. And she worked there for like 40 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe even longer. And so I was really good friends with her and her husband and stuff. And I worked with her husband's brother. So it was like, okay, well, I know this family really well. And it was just one of those things where when she got like quite a bit older, I looked at her and says, "Vera, I got to ask you a question." She says, "What's that?" I says, "Do you remember when you held my brother Donnie back because he was too small to go on to second grade?" She's like, "Yeah, I do. I really do." And I was like, "Is that really the excuse?" And she says, "No, that wasn't the excuse. I can't hold somebody back for their size. I held him back because he was such an idiot in class. He didn't learn nothing."
Well,
when Donnie turned 16, he dropped out of school. He was like, "Yeah, I'm done with this shit, man. I should have already graduated by now." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever."
We had a janitor that he lost his wife, his mother, and everything, and he actually lived in a 10 by 12 outbuilding his entire life until he retired and stuff. But he was sitting outside the hallway one day whenever our math teacher started explaining the theory.
Hey, Teresa.
Hey, Teresa.
Hey, Teresa.
But the math teacher was explaining the theory of a penny.
And honestly,
and saving a penny.
even after making the change, old patterns stuck with me.
And
The lifts,
he
the-
took it to heart. And you know, whenever he retired, he was he was a multi-millionaire, and he built a big mansion.
and why I felt like I needed to prove
The
my
2
You guys-
years after that
easy, and I still have bad
he
days.
retired.
If you guys could come to my house right now and look kitty corner,
If
there is a really, really big house up on the hill,
Mhm.
and their kids have every toy imaginable to any kid. Motorcycles, snowmobiles, 4x4s, side-by-sides, all that stuff. They got all of that stuff, right? All the time that guy was growing up, before he got married and had kids, he lived in a little shack that was on the side of the road, covered in tar paper. They called it the tar shack. And everybody thought this guy was just broke. And he does drywall, hanging and finishing for a living. He owns a big company that does it. And I was up there one day talking to him, and hey, I says, just out of curiosity, I heard you lived in a tar shack down the road. He says, yes, I did. I said, why? He says, because I wasn't ready to build a house until I was ready to get married, and we found out how many kids we were going to have, so I knew how many bedrooms I needed to add.
Right. Yeah.
Every bedroom has its own private ensuite bathroom. The kitchen is freaking huge. The living room is twice the size of what a normal person would have, but he also built another living room down in the downstairs part of the house.
Yeah.
Just for the kids to have a place to go hang out where mom and dad don't have to be with them all the time.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is all money you just saved up from doing the drywall work, and nobody ever knew anything about you. I says, how'd that work out? He says, well, you can see where I'm living now, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They're all driving brand new vehicles, and they got a beautiful house. And like he said, if I didn't wait till I got married and have kids to know how big of a house I needed, I would have built a house too small, and it wouldn't have made sense.
Well,
Besides that, it wasn't my decision. He says my wife had more say in the design of this house than I ever thought of.
Right. Well, it's like me. Up until I'm guessing probably about 7, 8 months ago, I never even had a credit card. I paid everything cash. And the only reason that I got the credit card was just so that I can actually
Build credit.
build my credit up to actually buy a place of my own. So now in 8 months, I got my credit up. It's above 700 now.
I'll tell you, back when Leah and I bought this house in 2019, she didn't have any credit at all.
Yeah.
And there was somebody that reached out to her. I don't remember who it was, but somebody reached out to her and said, all right, well, here's the deal on this one. You say you don't have credit because you've never had to borrow money. You've always paid everything cash. But in reality, every doctor bill you've ever paid, every electric bill or any other utility bill you've ever paid is building your credit. It's just not showing in your credit report. And they went through and redid her credit report. Her credit score right now is like 825.
Right. Yeah.
And mine's about 790.
Right.
You know, I had really good credit when we bought the house. She had absolutely nothing, but boy, she surpassed me flying colors.
Yeah.
Flying colors. When I got injured, I couldn't mow my lawn anymore, and I went down to the John Deere dealer locally, and I talked to the guy, and he's like, yeah, he says, I got one that was just it was sold, and then it was refused for delivery. He says, I can give you a smoking deal on it. And I was like, all right, what's your smoking deal? And he told me. So I came back home and I told Leah, I says, look, I mean, these guys are willing to do this, and it's like $800 off the regular price. But I can mow the lawn if I have this lawnmower. So she goes down and she sits down at the desk and she says, give me the paperwork. The guy says, what paperwork? And she says, I want to sign for the loan. They gave her $25,000 worth of credit at John Deere to buy a $3,000 lawnmower.
Yeah.
Into a pile.
And then when I wanted to buy my utility trailer, she thought she was going to be in there financing that too. I was like, no, I got cash in my pocket for this one. You're not financing shit on this one. I paid cash for the utility trailer, and she was mad at me about it. She says, no, I wanted to finance that. My credit's really good. I wanted to finance that. I said, yeah, but you don't want to blow up your credit on stuff like this. So then when I was still injured, we had a fold-down camper that I had bought, used. It was in really bad shape. I rebuilt the whole thing. And I decided I couldn't do the fold-down camper anymore because it was too much work.
here.
You had to keep walking around it to tuck the canvas in as you're cranking it down and whatnot. And it was just too much, you know. I couldn't walk. And I was like, yeah, this isn't working out for me. She said, we'll put it out in the front yard for $1,200. Put it out there. Got a hit on it the first day. Sold it. We got $1,000 plus $250 worth of firewood delivered with it.
Right.
And they took the camper. And she says, all right, so what do we want now? And I says, well, we can't do camping if we're going to be having to do that. So she's like, well, come on, there's a camper sales place right down the road. Let's go. We went down there. She found the one she likes. And they were like, are you sure this is the one you want? And she's like, well, I'm not sure. So we looked at a couple of them. They were all about the same size as our mistake. We should have looked at something bigger. It's only an 18-foot long camper, but there's only two of us, too. So you can't walk past each other in the hallway.
Yeah.
But
That's pretty cool. I'm telling you.
she decided this one camper was going to be the one, and she walked in, she sat down at the guy's desk, and she says, all right. She says, Derek, Dave tells me you guys are friends. What kind of a smoking deal can you give me on this thing? And he says, are you paying cash? And she says, no, I'm doing a loan. He says, well, I can't really give you smoking cash. He says, but depending on your credit score, I can give you a smoking interest rate.
Right.
She told him what her credit score was. He didn't believe her.
Like, I need a
So he went and he ran it, and it was actually better. It was like 810 at that time. She told him it was like 800. And he came back and he says, well, normally, he says, this loan would be for like 7.9% or something like that.
Mhm.
He says, but with your credit score, I can get you down to 4.5%.
Yeah.
And Leah's like, well, what's that mean in the long run? He looked at her and says, that means, honey, you don't need a down payment, and your payments are going to be a lot cheaper than anybody else that walks on this lot right now to buy that same camper.
Right.
Very quickly.
Well, it's like y'all know that I've looked at
And
a couple pieces of property and everything, and one was perfect. But I know I'm not really ready to buy it and everything. And it was 15 acres. There was a house that was there that would need to be torn down, and there's a trailer on the back of the property that would need to be hauled off. Which I don't need that. I got a camper. I got all that stuff. And, but they would not come down on the property. So, okay, well,
I'll tell you what.
that's important to me.
If I were a millionaire, Troy, I would actually. I found the ultimate place right here, local to me.
Yeah.
63 acres of land, all brand new barns, outbuildings, and all that stuff, with what looks like a really old barn on the property.
Yeah.
But when you walk through the front door of that old barn, it's not an old barn. It's a brand new freaking house inside of that building.
Yeah.
Brand new. I mean, everything in that place was beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm looking at that and I'm going, you sneaky bastards.
Mm-hmm.
All the really good windows are facing out towards the field, so there's only like 2 or 3 windows on the roadside.
Yeah.
And it's on a road that's less traveled anyway.
Yeah.
The 63 acres of land with that beautiful house and all brand new barns and stuff, like $1 million. And I looked at that and I was like, man, that is nice.
Mm-hmm.
That is really nice. I wouldn't have thought it. You know, I'm like, why am I looking at a barn? Well, I want to see what's inside the barn. There's got to be something here, you know. And it had like a, I think it was a 30 by 40 12-foot ceiling, insulated and heated shop where the heat's inside the floor.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's my dream shop.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I got a hold of a realtor, which I knew the realtor. Actually, her dad is a family friend of ours and everything. And actually, her husband I served with in Iraq.
I feel like the colors
And done 2 tours with him. So we went met up here at the Mexican restaurant for lunch one day and talked to her. And she said, Troy, don't even think about that. What you're looking for, I can easily, it's going to take time, but I will easily find you a place, what you're looking for and everything, for under $100,000. It's in Monroe County, Washington. It's not that hard to do, but it's picky because it's got all these damn Yankees from freaking New York.
I don't know who they are, but okay.
No, they're coming down trying to buy everything up, but
I don't know. I'm not from New York.
Most of them people that you're talking about, though, they're New York City people looking to buy land outside of the city to have for hunting land or whatever.
Yeah. Sell their places for up high, make profit, and come down here and buy cheap.
I actually own a half acre of land not too far from where I live that I bought at auction, and it was a tax auction. I bought the land for $50, but by the time I left the courthouse with all the paperwork, it was $1,000.
Yep.
And then I had to pay the $5 owed back taxes on it, which I thought was funny. The taxes on that property now are like $200 a year, and there's still no access to the property. But the guy who had access to the property, I called him. I went through the tax offices and everything. I found out who the owner was. I found him by going through, I don't remember what program I used for doing it, but I had to pay like $40 to find the guy's name, address, and phone number and stuff that was on the tax records for the property. And he lived down in New York City. I told him, all I want to do is get access, because there's a tractor path that runs right through your property, right to this property. All I want to do is get access to be able to drive back to that property.
Yeah.
He said, well, what's your purpose of going back there? I says, I want to build a small cabin back there just for a place to hang out in the summertime and whatnot. It was surrounded by a creek. It was really cool, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, no, I'm not giving you access to it. And I was like, all right, so why not? And then he quit talking to me, and he put his daughter on the phone, and she was a real pain in the neck.
Mm-hmm.
And I talked to her for maybe about, I'm going to say probably 2.5 minutes before I said, all right, you'll hear from me again. And I hung up the phone on her because she was a terrible person. I went back down to the Cortland tax office where I had to pay the taxes on the property. And I went back in there and I was like, all right, guys, I got a situation here. And they said, what's that? And I says, I want to know the property that surrounds my property. He will not give me access to my property, not even just access to drive in and drive out to be able to take materials back to build a cabin. And I said, yeah, so I says, I want to know something. Does he have this listed as his primary residence? Well, yeah, he does. Okay, well, here's my issue. This is a list of everybody that's ever rented that property from this guy since the day he bought it. He doesn't live on the property. He's never lived on the property. It's not his primary residence. This is his address in New York City. Here's his name, his phone number, here's his social security number, telephone number, the whole 9 yards. And they were like, yeah, so I says, he's been ripping you off for what, $600-700 a year now? For how many years has he owned this property? I think you should go collect some money. Yeah. And when you do it, do me a favor. What's that? Just tell him Dave Moffett sent you. I'll tell you what, I still don't have access to that property, but he knows not to mess with Dave Moffett because he doesn't know who me is.
Well, see, you know, that is actually illegal in West Virginia because if you own property that's landlocked, they have, by law, to give you a right-of-way to your property.
Some access is what it's called. Some access.
Yeah.
I trespassed across his property just to find mine.
Yeah. And it's a 70-foot right-of-way.
Not in New York.
I don't want mine anymore anyway. I'm going to let it go for back taxes again just to see what happens with it. Because what happened is the one side of the property that he didn't own used to be another farmer's field. That farmer sold off that field, and now it's a housing development. So the houses are like right at the top of the hill, and my property is right at the bottom by the creek. And all their kids go down there and play all the time, and I don't want nothing to do with it. So it would be terrible to build a cabin over there now. But when I first bought it, wow, what a great hunting cabin. You know what I'm saying? Well, he had a blind set up on his property that somebody else set up because he was never there.
Well, it's like my uncle's 9 acres property down in Wythe County, down in Virginia, which we always call the fish camp or Uncle Larry's property and everything, which taxes per year is $63 because it's uninhabitable. It's 14 feet below the flood stage.
Oh, wow.
And but
New York will still charge you taxes.
I had my camper set up down there. It's on wheels. It's mobile. It's not a structure.
Right.
By Virginia law. Somebody, of course, right beside of it is a bed and breakfast. Big 2.5-story log cabin, which rents for I think it's $1,600 a night.
Went backwards, but
And right beside it,
not a day.
that 9 acres, my uncle's there, and my camper sitting there, an outbuilding, a Betsy Ross flag flying and everything. And it's a mile and a half around to get to it before anybody can see it. All of a sudden, the tax assessor decides to show up down there, and he's wanting to change the taxes from $63 a month to almost a little bit over $1,200 a month.
Wow.
And because it's it's habitable now. Because
that's worse than rent.
Because the trailer, the camper sitting there on wheels, the property right beside two properties down below us, which they all have to drive through there, they stay the same. Even though the cabin is on there, it's on a old hay wagon that had the 4 wheels.
Tractor back.
Yeah, it's fine, but mine was different.
When I had my camp,
I'm guessing because it was there within eye shot of their aunt with the Betsy Ross flag, and
you can see it by drone.
well, no, they can see it by eye because that's one of the biggest wedding venues in that county, and I knew all the county officers and stuff from there. I stayed down there for about a year when me and Max separated, and that's a very extremely red county, and the wife of the guy that owns the farm is very red. And now I'm down there flying the Betsy Ross flag and stuff, and then all hell breaks loose off.
All right.
When I had my camp, I had two campers set up on the lot. The biggest of the two was like a really, really, really old camper, and I had a wood stove set up in that camper.
Right.
I took out a window to run the pipe out and stuff, and everything was run off supposedly a generator, but my neighbor next door who bought the land with me put a pole in.
Yeah.
So we ran I think it was like 250 foot of underground wire from my camp all the way down to that pole to plug in. But whenever they came up to inspect my camp, we'd unplug from the outlet that came from his pole, and we plug it into the generator. Well, code enforcement came up one day, and he tried telling me that camper was a permanent structure. I said, no, it's a camping trailer. He says, no, it's a house trailer. I says, no, it's a camping trailer. Well, we went to court with it.
That's what I went through. Yeah, they were.
Yeah. Well, we went to court with it, and the judge said, well, if it has a wood stove in it, and I says, Judge, that wood stove can be pulled out of that window just as easy as it went in.
Yeah.
This camper is fully mobile. It can be taken down the road and everything else. And he said to me, he says, how can you prove to me that that's a camper, not a mobile home? And I said to him, I says, well, to be honest with you, let me come back in 1 week and I'll have all the proof you need.
Yeah.
I went to my dad because my dad was code enforcement for City of Cortland, which is very strict. And this was Cortland County area, so it's really not as strict. And I had my dad come up to the camper. He looked at it and he went to court with me. And the judge says, okay, Mr. Moffitt, he says, so how can you tell me that that's not a motor home? I says, well, Your Honor, let me introduce you to my father. My father is Richard Moffitt. He's the City of Cortland Code Enforcement Officer. And he can explain it better to you than I can. And he called my dad up. My dad went up there and he says, well, Your Honor, he says, first thing I noticed is it actually says the camper name right here on the camper. And he showed him the picture of it.
Right.
He says, second thing I noticed is there's an awning rail on it. House trailers don't have awning rails. He says, the third thing I noticed is when you walk around behind it, it has taillights. House trailers don't have taillights.
Right.
And the judge is like, yeah, but what about the wood stove? And Dad says, well, like my son said, you can take it out as easy as he put it in. You can drive down the road with a wood stove in your house as long as it's not burning, or your trailer, as long as it's not burning,
Right.
and then set it up when you get to where you're going, and it's fine. He says, there's nothing in the code that says anything about that. Well, the judge and the local code enforcement officer went into a little room and had a chit chat. And then the judge came back out and told me I got 30 days to get rid of the camper.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I just bought all brand new windows for this thing, whatnot. I got a lot of money wrapped up in it. He says, I don't care. You got 30 days to get rid of it.
Yeah.
All right. You know what? I'll play your fucking game.
Mhm.
So I left the court. I went back to my camp, and two friends of mine showed up that afternoon when I was there. And I told him what was going on. He says, well, what do you want for the camper? I says, do you want it? He says, yeah. He says, I got a perfect place to put it. And I says, all right, give me $1.
Yeah.
He's like, are you serious? And I says, yeah, give me $1. You can even take the wood stove with you. He's like, all right. I says, but you're going to have a tractor to pull it with because it won't pull behind a regular truck.
Right. Yeah.
A one-ton truck wouldn't be big enough to pull this camper. It was 32 feet long, 32 feet long, but it was
Right.
made. Back in the day, they made it was like a park model.
Right. Well, it's like mine. What y'all seen my trailer?
Yeah.
It's what,
Yeah.
26 foot?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's 24, 26.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's why I had to move it off there. I got to get down there and get everything out of the that little shed because I've got a 6,000 watts complete solar system down there and other heat sources, backup heat sources, all this other stuff. And but
These are some pretty
did I knew my uncle bought that property down there when I was
I don't know if you all know
5, 6, 7, 8 years old, and I grew up with the guys that run the farm,
away.
and so I knew them and everything. So I know it wasn't them. Well, especially the one brother that lives there, he's like, that's messed up. It was his wife that made him do it, and but they own
Wow.
a 6,000 acre farm, and so that's money there. And then
Have someone stronger.
he married into a wealthy family, and that girl she turned the old farmhouse down there into a bed and breakfast. And it's like, oh, that's not the clientele. It's not good for them.
How do you like it?
It's messed up.
When my aunt and uncle retired, my cousins, one of my cousins was supposed to take over the farm. And I know all the way on the back side of the farm, they had a gravel pit.
Now,
Right.
Behind that gravel pit, there was an awesome place for a campground. And they were always talking about, well, when we get older, we're going to take over the farm. We're going to turn that into a campground. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. You know, it'd have to be all off grid because, you know, you need 3,000, 4,000 foot of wire in order to get any electric out there would be terrible. And, but they always said, we're going to turn it into a campground. Even if you ran a generator, they'd be fine, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool. I'm interested. Well, after my aunt and uncle both passed away, none of the kids wanted to do the farm anymore.
Yeah.
So they sold it. I stopped by there one day thinking that one of the kids that took over the farm and met the new owners, and I was like, well, you know, behind that gravel bed there's a great place to put a campground. And the guy looked at me and started laughing. He says, I know, we've got 14 campers out there right now.
Wow.
That's like,
I got room for 15. I got one more. And he looked at me and he says, yeah, I don't know you know.
yeah. That's like my family. We still have the family home place here in Monroe County and everything.
exactly how
390 acres,
you got that fire without tightening them before we-
mountainside. Majority of it is like this.
What?
We get up there, and it's a mile from the bottom to the top
Straight down.
where it flattens out and everything.
Yeah.
Great property, but my great granddaddy, he willed it to his children and his children's children. And there's almost 70 of us now.
Yeah. That's so good. That's so perfect.
So to do anything, you have to have permission from all 70 people.
Right.
And there ain't about
That ain't gonna happen.
there ain't about
You're
10
lucky to get
or 12
three.
that
You're
even
lucky to get three to agree.
that even live in the state. But what they did years ago, mainly in the 70s, 60s and 70s, they sold off the gas rights to it. And the gas company came in there and they mined all the gas off of it. And then they done 2 selective timberings on it. That,
Wow.
they hired Virginia Tech, people from Virginia come in there, mark the trees, had a lumber company doing it. And they took all the money from the gas and the timber and put it into a trust fund. And for now on up, that will always pay the taxes
That's cool.
on it.
But if you can't agree what to do with it, it's gonna be kind of hard to be able to do anything.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
so many of us that it's basically useless except for hunting land. We can go.
All right.
I go over and hunt and stuff, but that's about it.
Well, it's like
There's
down there.
there's 3 houses on it.
It's like down there in Texas at South Texas Roots with Jared.
Uh-huh.
George just recently passed or whatever. His dad. His grandmother owned that old ranch down there.
Yeah.
And nobody could ever agree what to do with the ranch, so he said, "We'll just keep it for hunting land."
Mm-hmm.
That's good hunting land.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Well,
hunting land. I tried buying land in that area, but boy, I'll tell you. Well, I didn't look at actual land. I looked at houses, but they got a major highway going through there now,
Yeah.
and on average, house in that part of Texas starts at about $200,000,
Right.
and they go up to about $900,000.
Yeah.
And there's only 600 people to live in the town.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, you got that small of an area in Texas, you know, it should be easy. Yeah, no, it's not. It's not.
And look, I got 2 cousins. Well, they're my dad's cousins. Their parents passed away in the early 80s. Today, they are still fighting over the property that belonged to their parents. And that's cousins that are involved with the family home place.
Right.
So, yeah, it's
All right, well, guys, it looks like it's just the 3 of us talking to each other. We just had one more join back in, but we've been on for an hour and a half. I'm ready to call this one if you guys are.
well,
Yeah.
I'm too. I got to jump over to Camudge.
Hi, Wanda.
I can't say that word.
Came in just in time for us to jump out.
In Alaska. Hey, Wanda.
Hey, Wanda.
But y'all take care. I love you.
All right.
And
We'll get a call going.
yeah, we definitely need to get a call. We need to talk to each other on the phone and stuff. And,
Yeah, Greg and I did that. So that's how I knew he was going to be here.
yeah. Well, I jumped in earlier, but I had to eat and everything else. But,
Yeah, FedEx never came.
yeah, well, you've been here before, so you know you can drive to the house. And
All right, gentlemen.
pick up David on the way. But y'all
All right,
take
guys.
care. I love
All
you,
right.
y'all. You don't know how
Have
much
a good
I
night,
love you.
guys.
Everybody have a great night. We'll see you. We'll probably see you next week.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good boy.
All
right.
right.
Later,
Bye.
guys.